The Boston Celtics have made a significant move in the 2025 NBA free agency by signing Luca Garza, a player who caught everyone's attention back in his college days at Iowa. Garza, who was once named the National College Player of the Year, is coming into Boston on a 2-year deal worth $5.5 million. This signing arrives just moments after the Celtics officially lost Luca Cornet, who opted for a 4-year, $14 million contract with the San Antonio Spurs. So here we have a classic NBA story. A key front court piece leaves, and the team quickly responds by adding a new player to fill that role. Garza is stepping into Cornet's shoes as a backup center, and possibly more as Boston looks to maintain its strong front court presence heading into the new season. It's interesting because we had a breakdown ready for Cornet's departure just before the Garza news broke, and now this signing adds a fresh twist to the Celtics off-season story. The timing is perfect for Celtics fans to start speculating on how Luca Garza might fit in and what kind of impact he can have. After all, Boston's front court is in transition, with Al Horford's future still uncertain and Cornet moving on. There's a noticeable gap that Garza is expected to help fill. The Celtics now have a real opening in their big man rotation, and Garza could be the answer they've been searching for. Luca Garza hasn't had a huge chance to prove himself in the NBA just yet, but he's shown flashes of what he's capable of when given the opportunity. He's a versatile scorer who can operate at multiple levels on the court. Now, when you think about shooting from deep, Garza hasn't quite established himself as a consistent threat beyond the arc, but his mid-range game is solid. He's got a nice little push shot that he releases just above the restricted area, which makes him tough to guard in the mid-range. On top of that, he's a smart low-post scorer with the ability to get good positioning against defenders. His offensive IQ is high, and that kind of savvy usually translates well in a team like Boston that runs a structured and strategic offense. Another important factor to consider is that Garza spent his time in Minnesota backing up some solid defenders, which might have limited his opportunities, but also taught him valuable lessons on defense and positioning. Moreover, he's put in work on his physique since entering the league. When he first came in, some question whether he had the ideal body shape or conditioning for the NBA level, but now he looks leaner, more athletic, and ready to run the floor. Watching highlights from his 2020 to 2024 season, you can see he's capable of sprinting the fast break and finishing with authority. He showed he could be the trailing big man who catches a pass on the run and slams it down with force, which is exactly the kind of energy Boston wants in transition. Garza is also a reliable offensive rebounder, which is huge for the Celtics since they need to generate more possessions next season. Losing Luca Cornet hurts in that area, especially because Jason Tatum, who's one of their best rebounders, will be out for the season. This signing seems low risk, but with the potential for high reward. If Garza finds his rhythm and confidence in Boston, there's a real chance he could develop into a player who fits the mold Cornet left behind. Someone who can handle the ball at the high post, face up defenders, and then make quick decisions to either shoot pass to a corner shooter or roll in the pick and roll. Garza's background at Iowa speaks volumes for seasons of consistent production, winning National Player of the Year honors, and basically averaging a 25-point, 10-rebound stat line in college. That kind of scoring and rebounding output shows he can fill a box score when given the minutes and trust. This signing feels like a strategic move for Boston to maintain flexibility. It's not a blockbuster deal, but it's the type of acquisition that fits perfectly within the Celtics system and financial plans. Garza has been productive in limited minutes early in his career, and although he's been more of a three-point taker than a consistent three-point maker, his offensive upside is undeniable. Defensively, he's not known as a lockdown guy yet, but he has worked hard on his conditioning and body to improve that side of his game. With Boston's need to create more possessions and rebound effectively, Garza's skill set could be very valuable. One aspect that can't be ignored is how Boston lost Luca Cornet, who became a huge contributor last season during the Celtics title run. Cornet wasn't always a fan favorite when he first got spot minutes, but as the season went on, he blossomed into a critical piece. He mastered the Celtics' offensive system, showing great timing as a short roller in pick and roll situations and demonstrating an excellent ability to pass out of the high post. Two shooters waiting in the corners. He was also a relentless offensive rebounder and showed great efficiency around the rim. All that growth earned him a big payday from the Spurs, where he's now set to join forces with Victor Wembanyama, a rising star. This pairing in San Antonio looks promising, and it's a great fit for Cornet, who hails from Texas. A bit of a homecoming for him. For Boston, losing Cornet leaves a big hole to fill at backup center, especially because Cornet was never expected to be a starter, but he was essential in key moments off the bench. The Celtics tried to find ways to keep him, but with his new contract paying $10 million a year, it was clear that Boston couldn't match the offer without making major trades. They're holding tight on players like Sam Howard and George Niang, who haven't even played for the Celtics yet, so trading to clear salary space is not straightforward. The reality is that Cornet's departure was almost inevitable once free agency opened. Now turning back to Garza, there's a lot of excitement about what he might bring. He's a high offensive player who has yet to fully showcase his skills in the NBA. Due to limited playing time, his ability to score from multiple areas combined with improved conditioning makes him a very interesting addition. He's the kind of player who can run the floor, crash the boards, and be a facilitator on offense. Boston's system values smart decision-making and movement, and Garza seems to fit that profile. On the defensive end, he might need more development, but his size and effort rebounding on offense can make up for some of those shortcomings. The Celtics clearly see him as a project with upside who can grow alongside their stars. While not flashy, this signing could end up being a quiet but important piece for Boston's rotation. It's a calculated move that balances budget concerns with the team's need to stay competitive, especially with key players like Al Horford's status still uncertain. Speaking of Horford, his future with Boston remains a big question mark. Rumors are swirling that the Golden State Warriors have expressed interest in signing him. If that happens, Boston will have to keep looking for ways to plug holes in their front court. Horford has been a staple for the Celtics for years, a veteran presence who knows the system inside out and brings leadership and high basketball IQ. Seeing him potentially move on would mark the end of an era for Boston, and they would need young players like Garza to step up and take on bigger roles. This offseason is shaping up to be a critical one for Boston's roster construction. They have to manage their salary cap carefully to avoid luxury tax penalties, while trying to remain competitive. Trading some of the younger players or bench pieces might be necessary to create room for veteran minimum signings that can fill out the roster. Meanwhile, the team has to figure out how to replace the rebounding and defensive presence lost with Cornet's exit and possibly Horford's departure. One name that also left the board recently was Brook Lopez, who signed a 2-year deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. This shows that the market for quality big men is moving fast, and Boston will have to act smartly if they want to land any other impact players in free agency. The pool of available centers with experience and skill is limited, so the Celtics' gamble on Garza might pay off if he can develop into the player they believe he can be. Luca, Garza's arrival in Boston isn't just about filling minutes, it's about adding a versatile weapon who can create offense in different ways. His ability to score from the post, hit mid-range shots, and contribute on the glass could make him a valuable asset in Brad Stevens' system. The Celtics need that kind of flexibility, especially given the evolving landscape of the NBA where big men have to be multidimensional. As the new season approaches, Celtics fans will be watching closely to see how Garza fits alongside stars like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. With Tatum sidelined for the upcoming season due to injury, the front court depth and secondary scoring options become even more important. If Garza can step up and provide steady minutes with reliable production, it will take some pressure off the team's wings and guards. The pressure is on for Luca Garza to prove that the Celtics made the right call. He's entering an organization with high expectations and a rich history, so every game will be a chance to show his worth. But the potential is definitely there. From his college dominance to flashes of NBA promise, Garza has the tools to carve out a significant role in Boston's rotation. All eyes will be on his transition from a limited role player to someone who can consistently impact games. The Celtics' front court shuffle this offseason has been dramatic, with Cornet leaving and Horford's future uncertain, but bringing in Garza adds an intriguing new chapter to the story. For a team hungry to defend their championship and build for the future, this signing could be a key piece of the puzzle. As the Celtics enter this pivotal offseason, the questions surrounding their roster go deeper than just filling the void left by Luke Cornet. Luca Garza's signing is a piece of a larger puzzle that Boston must solve if they want to stay atop the Eastern Conference and keep their championship aspiration alive. One of the biggest challenges is managing expectations, both inside the locker room and among fans. The Celtics have built a reputation over the years as a team that values discipline, effort, and smart basketball. Bringing in a player like Garza, who has shown flashes of offensive brilliance, but is still developing defensively fits with the organization's philosophy of developing talent over time rather than chasing flashy free agents. That being said, the pressure is immense. Garza will need to adapt quickly to Brad Stevens' system, which demands constant movement, sharp decision-making, and a high basketball IQ. The Celtics aren't a team that lets players hide on defense or slack off on the glass, so his work ethic will be scrutinized from day one. Coaches and teammates alike will expect Garza to bring energy every night, crash the boards relentlessly, and protect the rim when called upon. Defensively, Boston has often relied on its team concept, rotating and helping each other out. This might play into Garza's strengths, since it doesn't require a single player to be a lockdown defender, but rather to be smart and engaged at all times. Offensively, Boston's system could unlock Garza's potential. The Celtics run a lot of sets that involve the center at the high post setting screens, and either popping out for a shot or rolling to the rim to finish or dish. Garza's ability to pass out of the post is a crucial skill that can help create open looks for shooters like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, as well as new additions to the team. His mid-range shooting ability also adds a layer of complexity for defenses, because if he can hit that shot consistently, it forces defenders to come out to guard him, opening up lanes for slashers and cutters. One aspect that might be overlooked, but is incredibly important for Garza's success, is chemistry with the other big men on the roster. The Celtics have several front court players vying for minutes, and the rotation could become crowded if everyone stays healthy. Veteran Al Horford, if he returns, will provide leadership and steady play. There are also younger players like Sam Howard and George Niang who have yet to make a real impact, but could develop into reliable contributors. For Garza, carving out a niche might mean focusing on specific moments during the game when his skill set is most needed, such as late in the shot clock when the offense needs to reset, or in fast break situations where his mobility can be a huge advantage. Boston's coaching staff is known for tailoring roles to fit player strengths, so Garza's minutes could be optimized to maximize his impact while minimizing defensive mismatches. For example, he might see more action against teams that don't have dominant big men, allowing him to play a more offensive offense role. Conversely, in games against teams with strong interior defenders, he might come off the bench to provide energy and rebounding rather than take on a primary defensive assignment. Flexibility will be key for him to find success in this roster. The Celtics front office has also been exploring other options to bolster the big man position, but the market for reliable centers has been thin this offseason, with Brook Lopez signing with the Clippers and several other veteran bigs locking down contracts. Boston's signing of Garza is both practical and hopeful. It suggests the team believes in his growth trajectory and wants to develop him internally, rather than chase a big-name free agent who might not fit the culture or the cap space. Beyond just the tactical fit, Luca Garza's journey to this point has been one of perseverance and growth. He wasn't a first-round draft pick, and many scouts initially questioned whether his game could translate to the NBA. His college dominance was unquestioned, but the leap to the professional level exposed areas where he needed to improve, particularly in speed, defense, and three-point shooting consistency. Over time, though, Garza has put in the work, changing his body composition, improving his conditioning, and working on his weaknesses. This offseason signing with the Celtics represents a fresh start and a big opportunity to prove that his game has evolved. One factor that might work in his favor is the Celtics' culture of winning and player development. Boston has a track record of turning mid-level or overlooked players into key contributors, whether it was Marcus Smart's evolution into a defensive stalwart or Robert Williams' growth into a dominant rim protector. The organization knows how to nurture talent and maximize potential. Garza will likely benefit from this environment where coaches focus on both the mental and physical aspects of the game and where players hold each other accountable. It's also worth noting that the Celtics are heading into the new season with some significant roster challenges. The loss of Jason Tatum for an extended period due to injury leaves a leadership and scoring gap that will be felt deeply. Players like Jaylen Brown will need to shoulder more responsibility and role players will be expected to step up. In this context, Garza's ability to provide stable minutes and contribute on both ends of the floor will be even more important. His versatility could allow Brad Stevens to experiment with lineups that balance offense and defense in creative ways. In addition to his own court responsibilities, Garza will also have to embrace a leadership role of a different sort, being a professional example for younger players and a reliable teammate in the locker room. The Celtics value chemistry and team cohesion highly, and often players who bring positive energy and professionalism off the court become invaluable assets in a championship run. Garza's background, which includes a strong college career and early NBA experiences where he had to fight for minutes, could make him empathetic to younger players trying to break through. Looking ahead, the Celtics' 2025 season will be a test of resilience, adaptability, and depth. With stars sidelined and key players moving on, the team must rely on emerging talents like Garza to fill the gaps. His development will be closely watched, not just by Boston fans, but by the wider basketball community interested in seeing how a mid-level signing can impact a championship contender. The Celtics' ability to integrate Garza effectively will be a key storyline throughout the season. In summary, Luca Garza's signing is more than just a contractual move. It represents a strategic decision by the Celtics to invest in a player with high offensive upside and potential for growth on defense. It reflects the team's philosophy of developing talent within a disciplined winning culture. Garza faces challenges from adapting to a new system to proving himself in a crowded front court, but the opportunity for him to grow into a significant contributor is clear. Boston's offseason has been a mix of losses and gains, but with smart management and coaching, players like Garza could be the difference makers in the quest to defend their title and build for sustained success. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a surprising twist that's beginning to gain traction among NBA insiders, whispers around the league suggest that Jaylen Brown's time in Boston might be nearing its end. The Utah Jazz are reportedly exploring the possibility of acquiring the Celtics star in a blockbuster deal that would send this year's 5th overall pick to Boston, a move that, if true, would send shockwaves through the NBA landscape. Brown, who played a pivotal role in the Celtics' recent championship run, has long been viewed as one of the cornerstones of the franchise alongside Jason Tatum. However, despite signing a record-breaking Supermax extension, there are increasing murmurs about potential internal shifts in Boston's strategy, with the front office possibly looking to recalibrate the roster and capitalize on Brown's peak trade value. The Jazz, on the other hand, are aggressively positioning themselves to return to playoff contention and see Brown as a franchise-changing presence who could accelerate their rebuild. With a trove of assets and draft capital, Utah has both the motivation and the means to make a compelling offer. Still, the idea of Boston parting with a Finals MVP candidate who just helped deliver Banner 18 is almost unthinkable for Celtics fans. The 5th pick in a relatively uncertain draft might not be enough to justify such a move on paper, but league executives believe Boston might be eyeing long-term financial flexibility and a younger core with more upside. Of course, nothing is confirmed, and for now it remains pure speculation. But in a league where smoke often leads to fire, the Jaylen Brown touted chatter is something to watch closely as the draft approaches. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.